Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So for this video, we are going to learn about integrating factor, the second subtopic for chapter 2. Okay, as you can see from here, this is integrating factor. There are 5 steps that you have to follow to solve this integrating factor. Okay, so let's go to the notes here. So the question might say, solve the differential equation, but how do we differentiate between either to use separable or integrating factor? So as you can see here, contoh yang pertama, kalau kita ada 2 block, that means you have to use separable. Okay, kalau kita ada 3 expression, okay, contoh 3 expression tu lah, ini 1, ini 2, this one is 3. Okay, this one 1, 2, this one is considered as 1 or and 3. Okay, and maybe 1, 2, 3. Okay, kalau kita ada 3 block dekat sini, 3 expression, so you have to use integrating factor. Kalau kita ada 2, that means you have to use separable. Okay, so contoh dekat sini we have 1 and 2. Okay, so you have to use separable. I say here, we have 1 expression, single, single. Then you have to use separable. So that is how to differentiate, either to use separable or integrating factor. So from here, you know that you have to use SIMP. So what is SIMP? So to solve integrating factor, basically we use SIMP. So the first S here is standard form. Okay, this is standard form. So what is the standard form for solving integrating factor? This part here. So your equation, your given equation must be rearranged to be like this. Okay, so like this one here, which is you have to have dy over dx plus px, expression of x, multiply by y, and the right hand side only x, like this one here. Contoh ini, the first one here. So dy over dx and px. So here your px will be negative 1 over x plus 1, multiply by y, and the right hand side your qx is just only x. So that is your standard form. Okay, so given the question, you have to rearrange first the equation in standard form. Okay, the second one is to find our integrating factor. So what is integrating factor? So basically just the formula, we represent integrating factor as Vx. Okay, as Vx. So we have the formula Vx is equals to exponent to the power of integral Px. So Px dekat sini apa? Px ni datang daripada mana? Daripada standard form kita. Okay, so that one you have to solve and simplify, and then we move to the third step, which is we have to multiply. Okay, apa yang kita multiply? The third step tak payah fikir pun, nanti kita akan pergi tengok dekat soalan. The same thing for step 4, which is product rule. Okay, kita akan terus tengok dekat soalan nanti. And the last step is we can integrate. Okay, we have to integrate both side lah. Okay, integrate. Alright, so now let's look at example 3. So the first step, the first S here is we have to simplify. Okay, simplify and make sure our equation is in standard form. And dalam masa yang sama juga, please state your dy over, your px and qx. Okay, so okay, untuk separable kita tak kisah. Okay, kalau tengok dekat sini jawapan kita tak kisah, this can be our final answer. Okay, this can be our final answer. But for integrating factor, y must be as a subject. Okay, y must be subject, wajib. Okay, so now let's look at question A. We have dy over dx minus y over x plus 1 equals to 1. So this already in standard form, which is we have dy over dx equals to plus pxy equals to qx. So this already in standard form. So kita boleh keluarkan our px is actually negative 1 over x plus 1. Okay, negatif tu kena masukkan sekali sebab dalam standard form kita ialah plus. So our px is actually negative 1 over x plus 1. And our qx is this side here, the right hand side. Our qx is 1. So make sure you state this first so it is easier for you. Okay, so that is the first step. Simplify and make sure to keluarkan kita punya px and qx. Now we are going to find our integrating factor, which is we represent as vx. So the formula is exponent to the power of integral of px. So what is our px? Our px is negative 1 over x plus 1. So here what we have to do is we have exponent to the power of integral negative 1 over x plus 1 dx. Okay, so now you have to integrate negative 1 over x plus 1, which is we get exponent negative ln modulus x plus 1. Okay, letak sebagai bracket lah x plus 1. Okay, belum simplify lagi. This part is crucial. You have to simplify your integrating factor. Okay, so macam biasa, rules of log. This is a constant. Negative ni is a constant. You can move it up here. Okay, so you will have exponent ln x plus 1 power negative 1. Okay, so make sure if you can move the power to the up here, make sure to move it. Okay, and you have to simplify. So here you know that exponent dengan ln ni akan jadi 1. So we end up with x plus 1 to the power of negative 1. Or 1 over x plus 1. So that is our integrating factor. Okay, so make sure your integrating factor must be simplified. Okay, so next we move on to the next step, which is multiply. Macam saya cakap tadi, this step multiply ni tak perlu fikir. Okay, the standard equation. Okay, here is our standard equation. Okay, kalau soalan tu bagi lain, kamu dah tukar standard equation, you have to follow your standard equation lah. Okay, so standard equation kita, apa yang kita buat ialah our Vx, our integrating factor, multiply each of your expression here. That means here we will have 1 over x plus 1, which is our integrating factor, multiply by dy over dx. Okay, tulis je, tak payah fikir pun, tulis je. 1 over x plus 1 multiply by this one, minus 1 over x plus 1 multiply by y over x plus 1, and last one is your integrating factor, your if, multiply by this one, 1 over x plus 1. Okay, tak perlu simplify, biar sahaja macam ni. Okay, so step multiply, very simple. This thing here, your if, multiply to each of the expression here in your standard form. Okay, now move on to the next step. Itu sahaja, multiply itu sahaja. So move on to the next step, which is product rule. This is actually the reverse of product rule. Okay, ini ialah jawapan product rule kita. So here what we are going to do for product rule is basically just write d over dx, depends on the question lah. Kalau dia suruh differentiate with respect to x, contoh dia bagi, with respect to t, contoh dia bagi dy over dt, then that will be d over dt lah. So here is what you are going to do is, apa yang kamu cari, okay, apa yang kamu cari tu depends on here. Okay, kalau dia dy maksudnya kamu cari y. Okay, kalau let's say the question said dr, that means you are going to find r. So apa yang kita cari? So here we are going to find dy. So y multiply by your integrating factor. Here is actually v times q. Okay, so from here, apa yang kita buat untuk step product rule ni, we will have d over dx. Okay, d over dx, right? d over dx. So apa yang kita cari, which is kita cari y. So you have to put y here, multiply by your integrating factor. So your integrating factor is 1 over x plus 1. That means we have y multiply by 1 over x plus 1, which is we will have y over x plus 1. Okay, so this is y multiplied by v. Okay, on the right hand side, which is kat sini saya tulis V times Q. Okay, the integrating factor multiply by Q. It's actually from here. Kat sini tadi kita dah buat kan, Q kita, Q is here. This is your Q, QX, which is 1 dekat situ. Kita multiply dengan kita punya integrating factor, which is we got this. So tak perlu fikir, daripada sini salin je balik pergi bawah. 1 over X plus 1. Okay, so that is your step for product rule. Kita letak D over dx. Apa yang kita nak cari, multiply by our integrating factor. Daripada kanan multiply, step multiply ni, bawa je turun ke bawah. Okay, so that is step product rule. And the last step here is we are going to integrate both sides. So integrate D over dx, y over x plus 1 dx equals to integrate 1 over x plus 1 dx. Okay, so this one, D over dx and dx ini akan cancel out each other. So kita akan keluarkan sahaja, salin je balik yang di dalam. So y over x plus 1. So basically the only thing that you have to do here is integrate this here. Okay, so that will get us ln modulus x plus 1 plus c. Okay, as I said before that for integrating factor, y has to be the subject. So we have to multiply x plus 1 on the right hand side. So you will get x plus 1 ln modulus x plus 1 plus c. Okay, so this is our general solution by solving using integrating factor. Okay, so there are 5 steps. Okay, kita recap balik lagi sekali on for the next question here, we have x dy over dx minus 2y plus x equals to 0. Okay, first look at the equation that is given to us. This is not in standard form. So what we have to do is we have to simplify and rearrange into standard form. Okay, so your standard form should be looking something like this. Dy over dx plus pxy equals to qx. Okay, so dy over dx has to be alone. So this one kita tak nak. So we divide everything with x. So we will have dy over dx minus 2y over x plus x over x. So here we transfer x to the other side. That will be negative x over x. Okay, so what we have left here is dy over dx minus 2y over x equals to negative 1. So this is our standard form. Okay, our standard form, which is our px is actually negative 1 over x. Our qx is negative 1. Okay, kita keluarkan supaya senang kita nak cari. Px is negative 2 over x. Kita punya px is negative 2 over x. Okay, sebab tinggalkan y sahaja. So our px is negative 2 over x. Negative 2 over x. And our qx is negative 1. Okay, so that is the first step. You have to make sure our equation is in standard form. So the second step is finding integrating factor. The formula is vx equals to exponent integrate our px. So our px there is negative 2 over x. So we can put negative 2 outside as a constant. So inside is 1 over x dx. So here integrate 1 over x, we get negative 2 ln x. Alright. So now make sure this one here, negative 2 here, you move up. Okay. Negative 2. Not only negative, not only 2. Both negative 2. As a constant, we move up. So we will have exponent ln x power negative 2. So barulah kita boleh cancel exponent dengan ln. Then we have 1 over x square. Okay. Alright. So that is our vx. So move on to the next step, which is multiply. Okay, mana nak tulis ni? Wait. The next step is we are going to multiply. So multiply, macam saya cakap, multiply ni tak payah fikir. Just put it as this one here, your vx, your if here, your integrating factor, multiply by each of the expression. That means 1 over x square here, 1 over x square here, 1 over x square here. So tak perlu simplify, just biarkan sahaja. So we have 1 over x square dy over dx minus 1 over x square 2y over x is equals to negative 1 over x square. Just leave it like that. Okay, so the next step is product rule. So product rule, the same thing, d over dx. So apa yang kita nak cari is we are going to find y because we have dy here. So we want to find y multiplied by our integrating factor, which is 1 over x square, or we can write as y over x square. Okay, on the right hand side, tak payah pergi jauh-jauh, ambil je yang di kanan ni, bawa turun bawah. So we have negative 1 over x square. Okay, as you can see here, by using product rule, sebenarnya ini guna product rule lah, y x power negative tu, kita guna product rule, kita dapat jawapan ini. Okay, so the step is like a reverse from product rule. Okay, tapi step dia very senang, tak payah fikir macam apa yang saya cakap tadi je. So the last step, your I is integrate both sides. So integrate d over dx, y over x square. Dx is equals to, negative is a constant, 1 over x square is actually negative, x power negative 2 dx. So here we have this one, d over dx and dx cancel each other. Okay, d over dx and the integral actually cancel each other, so we don't have to integrate. We actually get y over x square back. So here we have negative x negative 1 over negative 1 plus c. So the final answer should get us 1 over x plus c. Make sure to make y as a subject. So we have y equals to 1 over x multiplied by x square. We have x plus cx. Okay? Sorry, cx square here. So that is how we do our integrating factor. So there are 5 steps, simply. Very easy actually. Okay, so let's move on to the next example.